Hi friends, welcome back to Intentional Motherhood. I'm your host, Kelsey Red, a stay-at-home mom with 4 active little kids and a real mom always trying to learn from those of you who are doing it better than I am. So today I have a really special treat for you. This is going to be our first interview episode where I am actually interviewing one of my amazing mom role models and my older sister, Alyssa Redfearn, who had all of her kids before me. Her oldest is 12 and her youngest is just a few months older than my oldest. So I've been able to watch her grow and develop as a mother and to watch her children grow. And she's doing some amazing things that I'm really excited to share with you. So let's get started. We're going to dive over into that interview. I'm super excited for today's episode because I have my first podcast guest. It had to be none other than my older sister, Alyssa, who has led the way in her parenting and mothering journey with her kids, and her family has done some really amazing stuff that I'm really excited to talk more about. Welcome, Alyssa.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. It's really fun because Kelsey and I are only a year apart. So for most of our life, it felt like we did everything together. Went to high school together, went to college together, got married close to the same time. But just the way life turns out, I had 4 kids. 6 months later, she has 4 kids. So we're doing things in a long, long line, kind of 5 years apart from each other. And it feels really fun. To me, it's like such a blessing because I feel like I can have 8 kids. I can still have babies in my life, even without having a bunch more babies myself.
And this is something that I love to tell moms to do, which is to find their role model moms, because it's so helpful to have someone who's just a few years ahead of you in the journey so that you can see what they're doing, see how things are going, and learn from their successes and their failures of what you want to do as a parent. So Alyssa is definitely one of those role model moms for me. And something that's really cool about her family is they have gotten really into entrepreneurship. But before we get into that, I want to hear, Alyssa, what you would say defines your family culture.
Oh, that's so good. I feel like a few years ago, I was listening to a podcast where a CEO type of guy talked about how he had started a company and something that was top of their list, important to do, was create a company culture, both within the employee company aspect, but also like a brand that their customers would understand clearly. And you all know this, you love Cotopaxi because you love Vivint because you love Patagonia because we all have our loyalty to brands. And he said, one day I woke up and said, why does my family not have a culture? It's so important because it's going to happen either way. It's just that your culture might become video games because your first kid got a video game console, or your culture might become football because one kid had an exceptional talent in football. That culture will come to you and that you have to be so proactive. He said, as a CEO, this was like so important to us. It will drive the direction of our company. And when I heard that, I was like, what is my family culture? I don't know what my family brand is or family motto, whatever you want to call it. So we've had a few over the years.
Yeah, so tell us how that has developed and where are you at now?
I feel like it's very stage of life. If your family motto is, I can do tough things, that's an amazing motto for a family of young children who can have a tantrum over tying their shoes. It can also be something when you're not making the teams you want to make when you're a kind of elementary school age kid. So in our family, then we've had the motto, one of my favorites, Jesus has my back and I've got his back.
I love that.
It's so fun because it kind of just reminds us that like we have someone in our corner all the time. I think that was something that came about as the kids started leaving the house for school and for teams, and just you're at a friend's house and you're not with your mom, and that can feel really weird when you're 5.5 years old. And so Jesus has your back and you've got his. No one talks bad about Jesus in our house, we say.
I love that. So it sounds like the spirituality is really important to you guys.
Yeah, we've always been really religiously oriented. It's something that grounds us. It's something that we're very well founded in. We belong to a church community and we love that. But more than that, we try to foster this environment of I have a one-on-one relationship with Jesus. Prayer can be really important for our kids because I think there are things they don't feel like they can say to their siblings. They don't know if their parents understand, and there's someone they can talk to every morning, every night, really anytime.
So helping them to understand that they can build a personal relationship that is prevalent in their life despite any other relationship in the world.
That feels really important to us just because you always will experience highs and lows with your religious community or with your parental and child relationship. And you can get really disillusioned by different things. So feeling like one-on-one, me and Jesus connect, then that's important to us.
I love that. So are there any other underlying cultural definitions that you would put on your family, or what are some of the principles that have led you to create the family culture you guys have?
So very early on, we started having a really strong feeling about work and the effect of work on our children. We saw a problem in the outside world and we saw a problem inside our house, and that was a lack of work. And it really started to stress me and Kyle out as we looked around and we thought, oh, well, this problem that this friend of the family is having originates from not knowing how to work. And my son loses his mind when I tell him to clean his room because work is so upsetting to him. And we just decided we had to have this rebrand of work. That work was no longer dreaded, get it over with as fast as you can. Work was this thing that we felt like you found joy in, that you gained self-confidence in, that is actually internally driven.
So how has that gone over? How has that progressed from hating the work to, because right now you guys are doing some really cool things with actually a family business that your kids are heavily involved in, and I want to get to that.
We always try to point out the well-roundedness of work. For example, when we bring up chores, then we bring up why we love the chores. Someone says, I don't want to do the dishes. That is not an uncommon thing to hear in our house even today. But I say, isn't it so wonderful that we pull clean dishes out of our pantry? That's amazing. I'm so happy that we're eating on real plates. And so this is just something that we try to present is like, I love having a clean house. At home, we try to present work as, see this beautiful life that we live, and how we say, I'm grateful for my home in our prayers, how we say, I'm grateful for my clothes and my warm bed. These are things that don't just come to us. We contribute to them. We bring them in our lives. We are part of why we have a warm roof over our head.
They have to work for what they have, and they take some accountability for it.
Yeah. And that they contribute. And I honestly think that that's something that resonates with kids. Nowadays, I feel like people are saying kids don't want to contribute. I think they like contributing.
That's amazing. So tell us about the business that you guys have started and how it has come to be what it is.
So the Wild Boys Sourdough Company, as it is officially named as of a couple months ago, is a sourdough bread company that our family started just about a year and a half ago. My husband was one of those quintessential sourdough making people of the COVID era, and he worked on a recipe. He loves cooking generally. He worked on a recipe for about 2 or 3 years before he had a dough that he was ready to call our everyday dough. And that sourdough recipe became just every morning he made a loaf of sourdough and our family would eat it. We loved homemade bread. We converted to only homemade bread. We loved it. Our second son, William, really wanted to make some money for the summer. He just was saving up for a bike or something like that. And my husband said, well, hey, if we double my sourdough recipe, you will take one loaf of sourdough around the neighborhood and ask for $5 for it, and I will make the other one for our family. So William started doing this. He instantly was making tons of money. The other kids of the family were jealous because here they are selling candy bars for 25 cents and William is making like $100 in like a month. And so we realized that people really liked it, and our neighbors were really receptive, really, really sweet, and even said things like, finally a kid shows up with something I want. And that kind of surprised us because I laugh because I have bought a rock for $3 from a neighborhood child. Like, we all know we're just doing this to be nice to the kids and teach them entrepreneurship and teach them work.
But now your family is actually providing some value to the neighborhood.
But someone said, thank you for finally sending them around with something I actually would like to have in my house. And so, anyways, so after William had made like $100, we said, you got to share the wealth with the rest of the brothers. So we started letting everyone take turns. And we started by taking turns with 1 loaf a day, and then it was 2, and then it was 3. Now we have regular subscribers. They buy bread 1 to 2 times a week. We always deliver it same day it was baked. We've tried to develop a little bit of a brand. We're getting like kind of new with that. But yeah, the kids have done things like they each had $200 to spend when we were on vacation, which is mind blowing to me. I never had $200 in my life. They have bought new dirt biking gear, radios and lights and just stuff that it's kind of luxury items. We can't afford all that stuff normally, but because they're working, they can go buy a fancy light for their helmet.
Wow. So it sounds like when they're the ones working for the money, earning the money, choosing what they pay for, they probably have a high level of investment in what they're paying for and the work that you guys are doing.
Yeah, we've tried a lot of different things. Sometimes we'll save up for a family thing together, and every single shift they do, they don't get paid for. They just know we all get a trip to Hawaii at the end of this. That is one of the hardest ones, to tell your kid, I need you to go out and do this work, and you just have to trust me that there's a reward at the end. That's challenging. We've made a shift. One thing we do now is that they get a salary every weekend.
Oh, wow.
Every loaf of bread you deliver, you get $1, and on Saturday you're getting $5 to $12.
Wow.
And then additionally, we say there's money so that we can go on a vacation this summer.
So have there been any challenges or maybe failures along the way that you guys have learned from? What lessons have you guys learned from this?
It's hard to say. The thing is that neither my husband or I are entrepreneurs by career. So we're definitely learning along with the kids. And even though we act as if we're the experts because we have a little more world knowledge than our children, we are also very new at this. So some of the challenges have been making company decisions. Another challenge is just kind of your typical, it's the end of a long day, I don't feel like working, and my mom is telling me I have to go sell this bread.
Yeah.
Which to me is such a valuable lesson, because as a mom, I don't know how many minutes I have that I'm like, I do not feel like driving to this gymnastics practice. I do not feel like doing these dishes or cooking this meal. And I kind of
do it anyway.
Yeah, just moping it for a second and then say, well, doing it anyways.
So how do you feel like having this business and having this just overall family value of entrepreneurship and work and taking accountability for earning and saving and buying things has translated to your family relationships, sibling relationships even?
So previous to this family bread company, our kids would try to earn money in various ways. Henry's selling sodas at the park. William's got a lemonade stand. Noah's trying to fix up a bike or something to sell on KSL. Once we joined in one uniform company, it helped us understand how different people bring different skills to the board. William is a great baker. He always makes the best dough. His brothers don't seem to do as well with that, and in sourdough, it matters. You want good dough. Henry has amazing client relations. All of our regulars, our weekly subscribers, Henry brought them on. Do you want me to bring you a loaf every Wednesday? He's so good. He's so chill. Anyways, it's just everyone's realizing that people bring different skills, and so they're good at specializing, and they're good at realizing that, oh, my brother is good at something. I thought I was the best at everything. He actually is good at something that I'm not great at.
So they're learning to respect each other's differences and skills.
Definitely. The other thing is that because I always insist that we have family goals, then we all know that we're in it for one thing. So they all realize kind of what looking at the same goal means, which is not something that's ever happened because they all have different interests. So
it kind of brings it full circle back to what you started saying with Jesus has your back, but now you've introduced this concept of we have our families back and we're a team and we're always working to reach a family goal.
Yeah, it's definitely bonded us a lot more as a family. It's also a awesome excuse to just spend time together. It's this thing that kind of makes us touch base with each other like 4 times a day.
Interesting. Becomes an anchor.
Yeah, so one really cool aspect, my kids all of a sudden started thinking of other people like, I think this person would like a loaf of bread, and it doesn't seem like they're able to buy it for whatever reason. Do you mind if we just give it to them for free? my husband and I weren't planning on introducing a charitable arm to our company. We feel like we're doing a lot of charity because my husband and I are spending a lot of time and money that we're not getting paid for. It was our kids who thought like, I just want to give this one to so-and-so for free. Or I know that so-and-so had a doctor's visit this week or whatever. And so it started becoming this thing where they were the ones who were coming up with charitable things to do with our company. They haven't yet reached the point where they actually want to donate their money, but they are thinking of like, oh, I don't mind if we give this one away for free, even though we could make $5.
Wow, that's amazing. That's probably something that you didn't even foresee when you were doing all this, but is just a silver lining.
Yeah, it's awesome. Kids will surprise you in really, really great ways.
I love that. Thanks so much for sharing this experience. I love that it's something kind of unique that your family does, and I feel like family cultures can be anything you want, and it is cool to see something outside of the box like this. Where can people go if they wanted to see more of your business and learn more about your family?
You're so kind. Our Instagram handle is Wild Boys Co. We have pictures of our bread. We have pictures of our boys. We deliver actually to multiple cities. We have like Alpine people, our area in Cedar Hills, and Linden people. And so we just do different days. You can DM us and get a fresh loaf of sourdough.
That's so cool. Thanks for sharing. And it's been a pleasure talking to you on our podcast today.
Hey, thanks for having me.